Your presentation of national sports is brought to you by Spreaker.com. Broadcast and listen to news, radio, and music with one low monthly rate. Your show will be right back after this word from your local stations.
Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Get up, first shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy yet. Glad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Chrome music, I shed my skin and put
Hello
my
and welcome
into
into episode 10 of the Coast to Coast Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Schnell. I have Ian Martin here with me. Say hi, Ian.
Hey guys, sorry we didn't get a show in on Sunday. People have plans. People gotta do stuff.
Yeah.
But starting off Wednesday strong. Got a great week of football. But Jeremy, what are we gonna talk about first today?
Oh, we got some great baseball. We got some great baseball going on right now. Actually, the World Series about to get underway in just under an hour. Right, just under an hour until that game starts. The World Series. I can't believe we're already here.
Yeah, it's really amazing how fast this baseball season's gone by. But I guess when you're looking forward to NFL season and the Super Bowl, it all flies by.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. You look at these two teams, St. Louis and Boston. Both teams in the regular season were 97 and 65. Both teams had an even win-loss ratio.
Yeah, these teams are very good. Boston, great team. They have great fans. Red Sox Nation, I think, will be a big factor in this. It will really prove to give them home field advantage out there in Boston Fenway. But, Jeremy, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I think the Cardinals win this series.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Alan Craig, I heard, is coming back.
Yeah, he's batting fourth in today's lineup.
There we go, Alan Craig. And when you this game is in Boston, correct?
Yeah.
So they'll have a DH, which they can put in as Matt Carpenter, or they can put in anybody they need.
No, they're putting Craig in the DH spot so that they can play Adams at first base still.
Oh, Matt Adams. Sorry, that was the man I was talking about. But Alan Craig, he led the NL in so many batting categories this past year. He's such a big bat to have in the middle of your lineup. And they've gone through this entire postseason without him. It's just amazing. And they have probably the stronger pitching staff. I don't think Boston can match. They don't have the consistency as Michael Wacha, Adam Wainwright, Chris Carpenter. And St. Louis's bullpen is a little flawed. But I believe St. Louis will win this game just because of the addition of the bat from Alan Craig.
Now, Alan Craig, he batted .315 this season, 13 homers, 97 RBI. Pretty good. He's really good. But do you think the time off, do you think that's going to hurt him?
No, I don't. When it's at this big of a stage, I think he's coming in to Boston being like, yes, I finally get to play. Whenever you come off an injury like that, you come in, you're like, yes, I get to play now. And then now it's the World Series, and he's like, oh, this is so sweet. I'm going to get pumped up, be 100%. I'm going to go crap on the ball. And I think that's going to really carry over to the rest of the team. Boston, you may know, Jeremy, but they all grew beards.
Yeah, I saw that.
As you can tell.
Duck Dynasty
saw it on
dude.
ESPN last night.
Yeah.
They all grew beards. I think for the Cardinals, they're all going to come off injury. They're all going to be the Alan Craig of the team and just be pumped up, be ready to kick Boston's butt. And I think Cardinals win this in 5.
Yeah, no. Who? So you think Craig is the difference maker in this series?
Yes, if he gets re-injured, I believe Boston will end up winning this series.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine throughout the whole series. It's just it's just going to be it's going to be questionable to see what they're going to do when they go back to St. Louis because they won't have that DH to work with. So it's either Matt Adams or Alan Craig.
Well, that is 4 or 5 days away. So they can always rotate stuff around. They could put, I believe Alan Craig can also play second base. So they can move him to second base.
Yeah,
and
no,
move
but you got
Carpenter
Carpenter.
around.
Yeah, Carpenter. He's been playing pretty well at that second base position.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they have some options. It's not like they're limited to 1 or 2. They have 3, 4, or 5. But so, Jeremy, what do you think about this? You haven't spit in your decision yet.
You know, it's very evenly matched. But when I look at the pitching rotation for St. Louis, I think it's much better than the Boston rotation. They do have John Lester, but I don't see any other pitcher that has the type of ability as they're not as good as the St. Louis pitchers, I think.
I'm not sure they're not as good.
Going up against this offense is going to be very, very difficult. They have, let's see, I think they have 5 or 6 players who are batting over 300 for this season.
Yeah, the Boston. I want to make one quick remark about Boston's pitching staff and pitching rotation in general. They're very inconsistent.
Yeah.
When you go to the Cardinals, Adam Wainwright, Chris Carpenter, they've been here before. We know what to expect out of them. They know what to expect. Like I said earlier, Boston, Cardinals in 5.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know what you're. You have Ryan. Is Ryan Dempster? Is he playing in this series?
I have no idea.
Well, whatever the case may be, you got, of course, you got their best pitcher playing tonight. You have John Lester going tonight, right? But then you have you have Jake Peavy and John Lackey who have played pretty well. They played pretty well in the championship series, and we'll just have to see if they show up in this World Series. But it's really going to come down to the pitching because you look at these offenses up and down. It's going to be so fun to watch, I think, because you got a lot of great star power there.
It's 2 really great offenses, and I can't imagine a better story for David Ortiz to come back to the World Series, possibly his last time. After a crappy year last year, I thought he would retire. Comes back, is in the World Series. I still think Cardinals will win this.
Yeah, it's really going to be a tough one. But look for David Freese to have another great series as he did 2 years ago when the Cardinals got to the World Series. Because he shows up in the clutch, that David Freese.
Yeah, that's another reason. That Cardinals offense is so potent. They're just somehow they just keep winning.
Yeah. So who do you think wins tonight? This Game 1 matchup. You got Wainwright going up against Lester.
I think Boston ends up winning this game. It's the only game they win in this series. It's a close game. It's going to end up being 2-0 or like 3-1, some low-scoring game like that because each pitcher is good. Mm-hmm. They're going to pull each pitcher earlier in the game. They're not going to let them run 8 or 9 innings tonight. And I expect Alan Craig. I don't expect the world out of him tonight, but in the next couple of days, I expect him to really improve and help his team. I don't think he'll do very good his first game back in the World Series against John Lester.
Okay, and then tomorrow night we got Michael Wacha. I think that's Mr. Wacha over there. He's going to be going up against John Lackey in the pitching matchup tomorrow night.
I'd have to say Michael Wacha. He showed us a lot in the NLCS. He's a great young pitcher. Cardinals, I think they might have the best farm system in all of baseball. I'm not sure, but they have a great farm system. They keep getting great pitchers. He's in a tremendous spot to be able to take in to be able to pitch to Yadier Molina and be under Adam Wainwright and Chris Carpenter, who've been here so many times before. He's in the perfect location, and it's really shown throughout this postseason. He's pitched tremendously. I think St. Louis wins this game behind Michael Wacha.
And now I think the key game of the series is going to be Game 3 because you're going back to St. Louis. Everything changes when you go back into that NL ballpark, and the pitcher actually has to hit and all that stuff. So, again, going to be one of the key games of the series. The third game, Clay Buchholz is going to go up against Kelly there. He's going to go up against Joe Kelly of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think I might. I think I might still have to stay with St. Louis just because home field advantage.
Clay Buchholz is 12-1 this year.
Yeah, I know, but they haven't really played. They haven't played the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals at home are the best team in all of baseball.
Really?
Yeah, I really do think so.
I think the Marlins beat them once at home this year.
Oh, everybody loses at home.
The best home team in baseball does too, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
What do they go? Like 40 or 50, 60 and 0 at home?
I'll have to look up the best team at home in the majors, but I don't think it would be the St. Louis Cardinals. I'll just have to look that up later.
Okay, sounds good.
Fourth game of the series, Jake Peavy gonna go up against Lance Lynn. I think, Lance Lynn.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to stick with Lance Lynn here. I know some people are gonna think I'm a little bit biased, but I just love this Cardinals team. I've always been a big fan of them since I was a little kid, and I'm not sure I've ever given up hope in a Cardinals team. And I believe this one is probably the best Cardinals team we've seen in recent years, or even the past decade.
You think this is going to be a sweep?
No, it's not going to be a sweep. They're gonna lose one game. They're gonna lose the first game tonight.
Really?
Yep.
Lester's going to come and he's going to show up, you think?
Yeah, he's going to show up.
All right.
No, was it him or Josh Beckett who was on the Marlins when they were in the World Series?
It was Josh Beckett, and Josh Beckett got the MVP.
Okay.
Josh Beckett was 20 years old.
So, John Lester has not been in a World Series, I take it.
I don't believe so.
Okay, so it's going to be his first time. He's going to be super psyched. He's going to go out there and pitch lights out.
And then that Game 5. That Game 5, I think it's going to be Lester once again.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be. They haven't brought out the probables yet, but if it does get to a Game 5, I think they'll pitch Lester then. And
if they're down 3-1, they pitch Lester, no doubt.
Yeah, I think so too.
If you're down in a 3-1 series and it's a 7-game series, you've got to pitch your one there.
And then do you think they go with Buchholz for Game 6 if they get to a Game 6?
Well, it depends how Buchholz pitches, because Buchholz, he pitched in Game 3. No, I'd pitch Buchholz in Game 7.
No, you pitch Lester in Game 5, Buchholz in 6, and then Lester in Game 7.
You can't pitch a pitcher that often, Jeremy. There's a limit.
Okay, so wait. The 5th game is going to be on the 28th. Then the 6th game is going to be on...
5 days rest, that's fine.
Yeah, and then the 6th game is going to be on the 30th.
Well, when's the third game? When's the third game when Buchholz pitches for the first time?
Buchholz pitches on the 26th, and then you jump to the 30th.
That's a 4-day rest.
That's good. And then
that's a little iffy.
It's the World Series. You throw everything at them. You do whatever you can in the World Series. Josh Beckett pitched on 3 days rest in the World Series, and he pitched a complete game shutout to win the World Series. Anyway.
Oh no, I don't really like that idea.
So Buchholz would pitch on the 28th, and then you pitch again on the 31st. That's my guess. I think that's what's gonna happen.
That very well might be what happens. But I would expect to see like some John Lackey or Jake Peavy, a veteran, in there at some point.
I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see, as we do always love to predict on our show what's gonna happen in the world of sports. But you really never know what's gonna happen in the world of sports. It's very unpredictable.
Yeah, especially in baseball. Baseball is such an unpredictable game.
People thought the Dodgers.
That's why it's the best sport. You can't predict anything.
Going into these playoffs, the Dodgers were the hottest team in baseball at the time, and everybody was like, "Oh, the Dodgers are going to be the team to beat in the NL. Dodgers are going to get to the World Series." It seemed as if that they were really getting dominated, except for that. I think it was the 4th or 5th game that they showed up. They really got dominated by the Cardinals in that series.
Yeah, they really did. The Dodgers I believe they lost Game 1 of that series.
Yeah,
They lost all their momentum.
they really did.
They did not do a good job containing their presence in the clubhouse about how amped up everybody was, and once they lost, it was just silence. And it was like after when you're a little kid and you lose a game and you mope and pout. That's what the Dodgers were doing in that entire series. They were moping and pouting.
In the closeout game, they lost
in the closeout game. No, they were not. They were not acting like little kids. They were
9-0. They lost.
They tried to show up.
Clayton Kershaw, he pitched 5, I think, pretty good innings, and then he just boom. Like something happened.
Yeah, wasn't that 3 times he pitched in that series?
Yeah, it was really tough. But he went on 3 days rest twice.
That's too much. That's just a little too much.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, want to start moving on to some football?
Yeah, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break before we move on to some football. I think that's what we're going to do. And then we'll be right back after this.
You can contact National Sports in a number of ways through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter with the label National Sports. We love to have you guys a part of our show and can easily join us also through text or call. You're listening to the National Sports radio station on Spreaker.com.
Welcome back to episode 10 of the Coast to Coast Show. Now we get into what we're usually talking about here on the Coast to Coast Show, the NFL, Week 7.
Yeah, even though most people are starting to look forward to Week 8, well, we're still back in Week 7 because we missed our show Sunday night. No problems. We got this under control. We're going to have a great second half of this show today.
All right, here we go. Your favorite game of the week, Ian. The Seahawks went into Arizona on Thursday night and played against the Cardinals, and they beat them.
They did beat them, Jeremy. That was just awesome.
That was so pretty to watch. Russell Wilson made some beautiful throws on Thursday night.
Yeah, he's grown up this season quite a bit. He still doesn't throw for the most yards. He doesn't throw the most. He doesn't throw for the most touchdowns. But when he does throw, he makes the throws perfect. He doesn't miss. In my mind, he's one of the most accurate QBs in all of the game right now. Marshawn Lynch had another great game, 21 carries, 91 yards. Brandon Browner, some people up here in the Northwest were talking about, and even the Seahawks were talking about how he might get benched. And lose his starting job to Walter Thurman. Came into the game. He had an interception. A lot of people might have seen this. He was running it back at the 5-yard line, tripped, and fell down to about the 1 or 2 yard line.
Yeah.
It was just a great game. All around, I haven't been more impressed by the Seahawks all year.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
One more quick thing, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm Smith, he played tonight. He played Thursday night, sorry. In place of Bobby Wagner, he had 9 tackles and 1 sack.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and he's a he's like the 4th or 5th string linebacker.
That's really good to see.
Yeah, it's great to see. And he came out of USC, a Pete Carroll kid.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's always recruiting, even if he's not in the college scene, you know.
Yeah, the Seahawks announcers, every once in a while, they talk about how Pete Carroll does not let a single kid from the Pac-12 or Pac-10 go by. He picks up everybody. Jermaine Kearse, their new wide receiver, or somewhat new wide receiver, is having a very impressive year so far. It's fun to have Pete Carroll as a coach up here.
And it's fun to have the Seahawks as your football team up there in Seattle, huh?
It's just fantastic. Jeremy, before you lived up here for a while, were you here when the Seahawks were in the Super Bowl?
Yes, I was.
You remember that atmosphere about how crazy the city was, right?
Oh, everything shut down except for school. That's the one thing that didn't shut down was school, right?
Yeah.
But we had the 12th man day. Everybody wore their Seahawks stuff. Like, they were 12th man flags hanging all around our school. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's just the atmosphere up here for this football team. I've never seen anything like it in any city I've ever been to. It's
awesome.
It just is great for the city, and it's great for the team. I see the Seahawks players out walking along the streets sometimes, and you see these guys. They're great guys. Everybody sees them. It's just awesome. Yeah, I can't describe it.
Yeah, you know how, like, sometimes players say they really don't notice how good of an atmosphere it is until after the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how players say that? So
yeah.
I see a bunch of Seahawks players, they're always at Seattle Sounders games because they can simulate that atmosphere that they have at their games in the same stadium when a different sport is playing still.
I've never heard about that. That is fantastic for the team.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, I saw was at a game once. I saw a couple other players. I think I saw Richard Sherman at a game. I'm not really sure. But I did see a couple Seahawks players who were on the sidelines or who were up in the press box or in the suites at the Sounders games.
That's pretty cool how Seahawks players go and support the other teams.
Yeah, it's because it's the same fans. It's the same type of atmosphere, you know?
Yeah, it is. That stadium is just awesome.
Yeah, well, if we're going to be homers like this, I don't know if anybody's going to want to listen to us anymore. So we'll move on from talking about our great city of Seattle, right? What a great city it is. If you've never been to Seattle, go during the summertime. You don't want to go around this time of year when it starts to get crappy.
Nope.
All right, so let's move on to the games on Sunday. The games on Sunday, we had some pretty close games. Let's see. The Buccaneers, they went into Atlanta and played the Falcons. You didn't really think that the Buccaneers would come as close as they did to winning this game. The Falcons still pulled it out in the end. But you saw some good signs, some nice play from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're 0-6. That describes a lot of this game. Vincent Jackson, he's a monster. He's on an 0-6 team, and he's catching 10 balls for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm not sure how he still does that. In all honesty, I don't understand why he hasn't requested a trade. He's such a good player. He's Pro Bowl caliber, and he sticks with this team because this team has a future. It's not like they're like doomed for like lifelong being awful.
Right.
But they have a future. They have a decent receiving core. They have a decent defense. They have Darrelle Revis, which always helps. And they have a good running back. All they need to really figure out is QB. They are one score away from winning this game against a bad but a better version of bad than the Buccaneers.
Yeah, or better than the Browns.
Yes, but not better than the Jets. I'm not sure we can make that joke anymore after they beat the Patriots.
We'll get on to that. We'll get on into that game later. I think they're a fluke. I think the Jets are fake, and I'll tell you why they are a fake team later on in the show. I guess you guys are just gonna have to stick around and wait for that. But one thing to look at from this Tampa Bay team, you saw Mike Glennon. He took over as a starter, I believe, 2 weeks ago. He played really well in this game. 26 for 44. Okay, 44 passing attempts, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
That's pretty good, but the Falcons don't really have a good defense. I'm gonna go out and
Yeah,
say it. You
once they
Falcons
lost
fans,
Brent
I'm sorry,
Grimes.
you guys don't have a good defense whatsoever.
Yeah, once they lost Brent Grimes, everything went downhill from there. I mean, they did get OC Human Yura this offseason, but he hasn't really done much. I don't
Well,
think...
he's old. It's not like he's like a 22 version of Uzi Humanora. Whatever his name is.
OC
Whatever
Human...
his name is.
No. I want you to say
OC,
say it like you think it sounds.
OC Humanora.
That was close. Try it again.
No, we have to talk about football.
OC Human. He had 4 tackles in this game.
I don't get why they let go of John Abraham, who in my mind is a much better player than Humanura, just because John Abraham can just rush. He can straight up get to the QB faster than almost anybody in the league, and they just let him ride. I'm not sure why they would do that, knowing they had the struggling defense.
Yeah, it's mind blowing, really. But
yeah, so Jimmy, we want to move on to our next game, much more intense game.
Yeah, let's talk about this game. This game was very, very close. The Bengals just barely edged out the Lions when they went into Detroit to play them. Just not a good week for Detroit sports fans, huh?
No, that really was. And this was a very close game. I was surprised. I didn't think the Lions were going to come this close. Matthew Stafford showed us again he is a good QB. Not enough people give him credit for that. Calvin Johnson did what Calvin Johnson does. 9 receptions, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. Andy Dalton, 24 of 34 for 372 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Really impressed out of this kid. AJ Green did what AJ does. 6 receptions, 155 yards, and a touchdown. Really, really quite impressive from each side of the ball. Each of these teams are young.
Mm-hmm.
They're each young. Each have a good young QB. Matthew Stafford, he might be getting old. I think he's 28 or 29.
Yeah, you're close to right around there.
Yeah, because he's been in the league, 5 or 6 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's about 28, 29. And these teams each have great futures. The Bengals, they'll be in the playoffs this year. They're a little bit farther ahead than the Lions. But the Lions, look out next year, or possibly even this year. I might be wrong. This year they could even make a run at it over the Packers and Bears.
Yeah, the Lions are my team. Don't forget about that.
I thought the Dolphins were your team.
I'm talking. No.
Listen.
I have two teams that are my teams, and then I have a bandwagon team, and then so the Lions are my bandwagon team this year.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
But
my bandwagon team's the Chiefs.
yeah, everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. We'll get to that later. But one thing to look at from this game was that the running games on both teams did not fare very well against the opposing defense. Reggie Bush only 50 yards on 20 carries. That's not very good. Not what you're accustomed to seeing from Reggie Bush as a Lions player. And yeah.
Bengals have a good D. Geno Atkins holding down that offensive line.
Defensive.
He's a D tackle for the Bengals. He's holding down the Lions' offensive line. Just dominates the center of any line. It's really quite impressive. I think he might be the best D tackle in all of football right now.
Wow, that's really a bold statement there, Ian.
Yeah, who's better than him? That's not Ndamukong Suh and gets suspended every 3 games.
I have no answer for that, Ian.
You don't?
I have no answer for that right now.
There we go. Okay.
Cam Wake.
He's not a D tackle.
Oh, sorry. He's a defensive lineman.
Yeah, there's J.J. Watt's a better defensive lineman than him.
Right, but I like Paul Soliai on the Dolphins. He's big. He's strong. He can. All he does is stop the run.
Yeah, but he's not a pass. He can't. Can he pass rush?
Sometimes.
Then he's not as good as Geno Atkins.
All right, so there you have it. Geno Atkins, the best D tackle in the NFL, says Ian Martin. Guys, you can put that on record and write it in and tell Ian he's wrong in a couple days, I guess. Moving on
to our next game.
Moving on to the worst game of the week. The Bills went in to Sun Life Stadium to play the Dolphins on Sunday. Just a heartbreaker if you're a Dolphin fan like I am. Can I talk about this for a second, Ian?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so the Dolphins lost 23-21 in a heartbreaker. Something that I really want to touch on is the Dolphins' offensive line. What happened? What happened to the Dolphins' offensive line this week? Well, we'll see that number 77, Tyson Clabo. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to block that guy? Oh, he's already behind. Oh, he's just hit my quarterback. Oh, no, that stinks. All right, I'll just get him on the next play. All right, so a couple plays later. Oh, no, the ball's on the ground. Wait, he already got behind me? What happened? I don't know what happened. Like, that's what lost us the game, was Tyson Clabo not knowing what the heck he was doing on a football field.
Was he lined up against Mario Williams?
Yeah, and he held him in check like the entire game until the fourth quarter, and Mr. Williams embarrassed Tyson Clabo on 2 plays that lost the Dolphins the game.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, and one really cool thing was Dolphins still had a chance to win it at the end. Most people don't know. There was a kick return with about 48 seconds left or something, and or I think it was 59 seconds, and Marcus Thigpen returned it to the 40 and got slowed down by the kicker Dan Carpenter and tackled at about like the 45-yard line of the Dolphins, and the Dolphins all they needed was a field goal. The Dolphins didn't move anywhere further with their offense with 44 seconds left after that kick return. It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. And the last play of the game was 4th and 10, and Tannehill just heaved it all the way down into the end zone with 6 seconds left. It was amazing how he got away because there were a bunch of defensive linemen already on him right as he snapped the ball, of course. And as he rolls out to the right side, he throws it sidearm about 60 yards all the way into the end zone to give his receivers a chance to come down with it, and they can't come down with it. But they really shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place, and I blame the offensive line for that. And I commend the Dolphins for going out this week and trading for an offensive lineman because they really do need one.
Yeah. You there, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, that's a problem in the NFL with teams that have such a good offense, but they don't have an offensive line. The Seahawks have had that problem, but people don't notice it because their offense is so outstanding and their defense is so outstanding. The Seahawks, when they played the Texans and Colts, they were missing 3 of their 5 starting linemen: their center, left guard, left tackle, and right tackle. And it was just awful to watch the Seahawks play these teams and just get dominated on the offensive line. It was crazy. Jeremy, you may think I am overdoing it here, but your Dolphins don't compare to how bad the Seahawks offensive line was doing the past 2 weeks.
The Dolphins offensive line lost them this game. I think they're pretty damn bad.
Okay, I'll give you that, but they didn't perform. Dolphins performed decent throughout the game. Seahawks, I'm telling you, they're getting healthier, getting those O-linemen back. They got Max Unger back for the Cardinals game, or for the Titans game 2 weeks ago. My bad. One more quick thing. Percy Hartman's coming back. Started practicing this week. It's getting warm up here. Everybody's catching Percy fever up here in Seattle.
Yeah, it really are. I'm trying to get Isaac Glasser here on the show. He's about to join us here on the Coast to Coast show, as he always does every week. Isaac, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, welcome to the Coast to Coast show once again, Isaac. We're talking about the Miami Dolphins offensive line and the Seahawks offensive line, and how much problems both of those teams have on the offensive line.
All right. Do you want me to weigh in?
Yeah, let's weigh in. Dolphins signed Bryant McKinney this week to help them out on offensive line, but or they traded for him at least, and we'll just have to see how that works out. What do you think of the Seahawks offensive line the past couple weeks, Isaac?
Well, it's sure good we have Russell Wilson. I mean, he's really the only reason that we don't have 10 sacks a game. I mean, with all the injuries that we've had, and even before the injuries, our line wasn't great, but McQuiston's been horrible. Paul McQuiston, our left tackle, he's been awful. And
only reason he's playing awful is because he has to play left tackle.
I mean, he's still been playing really bad, even for a left tackle.
Well, no, because he never plays left tackle before. This is because Russell Okung got injured.
Yeah, but I mean, as an NFL offensive lineman, you got to be able to play the position when you're needed. Even after playing left tackle for many weeks and practicing at that position, he's still not really improved, and he's given up.
You're right about that, Isaac. But I was telling Jeremy earlier, the Seahawks are getting healthier. I expect the world out of Paul McQuiston Monday night when they play the Rams.
All right, well,
We'll just have to wait and see what
definitely
happens in that game.
What?
We'll have to wait and see what happens in that game, and we'll be predicting that game either tomorrow or Saturday, I think, right?
Yeah, definitely having the long week after playing last Thursday, and they don't play till Monday, gives the Seahawks a lot of time to get ready.
The NFL has done that this year with the schedule makers. They did that to the Dolphins play on Monday night or on Thursday night next week, and then they don't play until Monday night the following week. I think the schedule makers made it like that so that they have a little extra time after that Thursday night.
Well, yeah,
game.
so they have the short week, and then they have a long week.
Right, yeah, I think that's perfect that the schedule makers did that.
Yeah, it really is nice. I always hated having a Thursday night game and then a Sunday night game. I just always never liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. They were talking about adding some more Thursday night games, which I don't really agree with, but I guess we'll see what comes out. Maybe they said it might be played on Netflix.
Wow.
Yeah,
No.
they said that they may put one of the games on Netflix and of course keep the game on NFL Network, but
Netflix isn't really for streaming, like live.
I know, but that's what they were talking about. That it's in. Go read the article about it, guys.
Yeah.
What?
Do you know Tavares Jackson, the Seahawks backup quarterback?
Yeah.
So his QBR on the season is 97.6.
Better than the Browns.
That's better than like half of NFL quarterbacks.
Better than
That's
the
better
Browns.
than Russell Wilson's.
Yeah.
Well,
Because he's 7 of 8 for 129 yards and a touchdown.
who cares? I mean, why put Russell Wilson in when you have Tavares Jackson?
Yeah, exactly.
MVP.
All right,
MVP.
guys, we spent a lot of time talking about the Dolphins' offensive line and talking about the Seahawks' offensive line when we got a great game with the Patriots and the Jets that played on Sunday to talk about.
That was a great game.
It
Watched
was
the whole thing.
Brady again didn't throw a touchdown.
I think Geno Smith with a better team around him would be a really good quarterback.
Oh, I hate Geno Smith.
Just doesn't have good receivers and offensive line.
No, he really doesn't.
Geno Smith is such a Jet. Geno Smith and the Jets are perfect for each other. Let me tell you.
I mean, he finds ways to win even with a terrible stats and a terrible team around him.
Oh, he's like Tebow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's Tim Tebow.
Tebow could have played on the Jets.
He did.
Yeah, but he didn't really.
He played like punters like.
He played like receiver.
And Wildcat quarterback, but that's past the point. The Jets won
But
this
you don't
week.
run the Wildcat in the NFL.
Did you see the controversial field goal call?
I mean, it's a new rule this year, and he's a rookie, so give him a break for that. Don't chop his pay for that call. But
Oh, did you hear the Belichick sound after the game? What he said?
no, I didn't.
He's like, "We got called for pushing."
Yeah, I was checking out the Patriots on Facebook because I hate when games end in controversial ways.
Right.
Hence last year's Seahawks Packers game. But regardless, when they end in controversial ways, it's not a good way to play a game. So
Right.
They should get a redo flag. I call one redo.
yeah, that's like in Madden, you have
Madden
rewind.
Interception, rewind. No,
you can set it so that you have unlimited rewind, and then just rewind each play.
Exactly.
Till you get what you want.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Which Madden was that? That was 2010.
That was 10.
Yeah.
I remember me and Ian would play that, and we would play with unlimited rewinds, and so it was so dumb you couldn't do anything because every play it would be rewinded.
Yeah, that's seems like a lot of fun, but I still don't understand how the Jets pulled out this game. And you want me to tell you why the Jets are so fake?
Why?
They're plus minus. I think it's negative 27. I think the stat was. I'm not really sure. That's their
Score.
For score.
Oh, their score. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I was like, turnovers. What?
yeah. So their opponents they're minus 27 right now. That's the same amount as the Raiders, as the Browns.
Yeah. I mean,
as the Vikings.
The Jets kind of have a hard schedule too. So.
Oh, come on. They lost to the Bills. The Dolphins shouldn't have lost to the Bills this week. And the Jets shouldn't have lost to the Bills when they did, too.
I've been looking at this NFL strength of schedule thing. So, it's interesting because the top is the Panthers, the bottom is the Broncos. There's such a large discrepancy.
The Jets won against the Bills, sorry. They lost, and the Jets lost to Pittsburgh. I mean, come on.
I mean, so the Pittsburgh's getting better. If you watch them the last few weeks, they've been steadily improving over the course of this season. And like Pittsburgh, when they start winning games consecutively, they get scary. And I think they're not done out of the playoffs quite yet.
Reason why the Patriots aren't as good as people think they are. Losing to the Jets 30-27 in overtime this week. That's number one. And then in week 2, they won by 3 against the Jets at home.
Yeah,
they've already played twice.
Quite a few close.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. This early in the year.
The Broncos and Chiefs are going to face twice within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah.
I think week 11, week 13.
No, it's week 9, week 11.
Oh, that was close.
Oh, I was wrong. Okay, so how about we move on to the Dallas and Philadelphia game? Jeremy, you haven't really pitched in that much tonight.
Really?
Just kidding, you have.
Ouch.
Isaac, let's go with you first.
All right, Dallas and Philly. Remind me what the final score of that game was, because I know Dallas...
17-3.
17-3. Well, one thing we know is that without Mike Vick, the Eagles are not able to do anything offensively. And, I mean, I have mixed emotions about the Cowboys because they've always, or at least not always, but the last few years been on that cusp between being a playoff team and not a playoff team. But this year they seem like the clear favorite from their division. So I wasn't surprised by the outcome, but I didn't watch much of this game, so I can't tell you a whole lot about it.
For me, Dallas is the clear favorite in this division. I don't see a team that has the same depth that Dallas has. Dallas, when they played on Monday night a week ago, I believe, it was either a Monday night game or a Sunday night game. It was Sunday night, Cowboys versus Redskins. That's what it was. It was a week ago, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it was.
But Jeremy, do you know? Is Jeremy in here?
He'll be back in just a second, I think.
Oh, okay. Well,
but, yeah, I'll check right now if you want me to.
That's not the point. Here, I have it up now. Dallas, they've really, really impressed me this year. Yes, it was against the Redskins. Dallas, I believe in that game, was missing 4 or 5 defensive players, and they still pulled out a good win. Only allowed 16 points. They're playing well, and they're performing very well. Even though they're only 4-3, they're first place in the NFC East, and I think they're going to go to the playoffs. Tony Romo is going to learn from his mistakes. Hint, hint, when he dropped the snap in the game
Oh gosh,
against
that
the
was a long
Seahawks.
time ago.
And I think Cowboys could make a run for the Super Bowl this year. I'm going to go out there
Really?
and say it. I think the Cowboys could do it. They have Tony Romo. If he can stay healthy, if he can grow up a little bit, Des Bryant really showed us that he's starting to become that great receiver that we saw at Oklahoma State. And DeMarco Murray, if he comes up, gets healthy,
Yeah,
Cowboys are golden.
I don't think they're quite a Super Bowl team yet. They definitely put up a contest against the Broncos a few weeks ago, which was good to see. But I don't think they're quite that Super Bowl caliber team yet.
Yeah, that's what I've heard a lot. I've mentioned that among my friends, and I've got crap for it. But I do believe Cowboys are almost a Super Bowl team. They're almost at that level. They're close. Tony Romo's a good QB. I really like him. So, Isaac, before Jeremy gets back to
I'm right here. I'm back.
Oh, Jeremy's back.
Oh my God, he's still with us. Oh gosh, what are we gonna
So
do?
our next game is Washington or Chicago at Washington.
This was
Wow.
a surpriser, guys.
This was surprising.
The 86
41.
86 points scored in this game, I think, was the most total this season, or maybe the second most total in a game.
Yeah, second most to the Broncos-Cowboys game.
Oh yeah, that's true. So second most in any game this year.
Yeah, in this game, I'll start off. I have a great little point right now. RG3 threw for almost 300 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, and he had 11 carries for 84 yards. I think he's finally starting to come out of that knee injury, and I think he's starting to play well. Jordan Reed, the rookie tight end for the Redskins, just like Jordan Cameron, puts up great numbers. He had 9 receptions, 134 yards, and a touchdown. Ladies and gentlemen, pick him up on your fantasy teams.
Yeah. How about that run game for Washington? Alfred Morris ran for 95. RG3 ran for 84 on his own, and Roy Halou ran for only 41, but had 3 of their touchdowns. So 3 rushers for them that really did great in this game. So that was definitely a factor for them winning this game against a tough Bears defense.
Yeah, it was. Whenever you have a running game, you can always win.
Well,
Jeremy, what do you think?
RG3's back, I think.
Really?
That's my analysis on this game. And McCown is going to have to start for the next 3 to 4 weeks, I think, since Cutler's going to be out. So we'll just have to wait and see if the Bears again fall. Again,
Yeah.
Because they've been doing this to everybody the past 4 or 5 years, right? They've had a good start to the season, and then they've just fallen off. Or they started off bad, and then they gained momentum as the season went on. But
Jeremy, how about the Washington Redskins facing struggling Broncos defense next week? Do you think RG3, who's been inconsistent this year, he's had some good games and some bad games on and off, can do well against a Broncos defense?
No.
No.
No,
They've been pretty bad lately.
Yeah, but I think they show up next week. The game is in Denver, right?
Right. But
Yeah.
Yes.
Denver will show up after losing last week to the Colts. It's not even going to really be a
I
contest.
have no doubt offensively they'll show up, but defensively they haven't been strong. And
I think they'll be pretty strong this week. You'll see
The
a better defense out of Denver this week.
They give Von Miller back.
They had him back last
They
week.
had him back last week, but he.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't hear his name called at all.
I did on the radio.
Yeah.
Good for you, Jeremy.
He was definitely helpful for them. He had a few tackles, and it was good to have him back. But they still couldn't win. I'm surprised of all games that was the one they lost.
Anyway.
So you guys want to move on to our next game?
Yep, let's go. Panthers, they won this game with ease. I think the Rams didn't play too well, and they went into Carolina thinking that it was going to be pretty close. But Panthers really showed up this week.
Yeah, Rams didn't lead the whole game, so that was not really any contest at some point.
No.
Yeah. When did Sam Bradford get injured? Was it the fourth quarter?
Yeah,
I want to say it was.
Bradford still attempted 30 passes, and so it wasn't like he didn't get a lot of time. Cam Newton attempted only 17, so.
But he was 15 to 17. He was very effective. But
That's
the
amazing.
Rams, without Sam Bradford, I don't think they're a very good team. Without a good QB, no team's really good. Panthers, they have Cam Newton, who's a good QB. Steve Smith is a good wide receiver. He's shown that to us over and over. Panthers have a surprisingly good defense also.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. Like I said earlier, the Carolina Panthers have the hardest schedule based on how teams finished last year in the entire NFL. They're top 10 in rushing yards, opponent passing yards, and opponent rushing yards. And their schedule is really hard, but I think they would be a 9-7 team, even 10-6 maybe, if their schedule wasn't as hard.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Totally agree. Great to see Cam Newton show up this week, and good. It was a good game to watch if you're a Panthers fan, but a little alarming if you're a Rams fan because I don't know. It looked like last week that they played really well against Houston and everything, and everything was going up for them, and then boom, this week it just went for the worse, right?
Yeah, they didn't score more than once in any quarter in this game, so that didn't really help them.
They got 2 points in that first quarter.
Yeah, but a safety is not really, like, of all the ways you could score, safety isn't the most effective. Although it is a good momentum shifter.
Yeah, you're right. Well,
in the first quarter, it's huge. 2 points. We're up 2-0. Woo!
Except I'm pretty sure the Panthers scored first.
We're down 7-2. Now all we need is a field goal and another safety to tie it up.
I don't think they were shooting for another safety, but.
So let's move on to our next game.
We gotta start moving faster, guys. We don't have too
Chargers
much
and
time
Jaguars?
left. Yeah, Chargers and Jaguars. This game. Phillip Rivers, man, 22 of 26, so efficient in this ball game. 285 and 1 touchdown. And also, Ryan Matthews, pick him up on your fantasy team if you don't have him, guys.
I picked him up
before.
Started him and it was big.
Yep, me too. And he really showed up this week, right?
Definitely.
21 carries, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Can't ask for more out of a running back when your QB goes 22 of 26 for 285 yards and 1 touchdown. 22 of 26. This game didn't really surprise me. I didn't think the Jaguars had any chance at winning this game.
I think they do.
You, Isaac?
I think they do next week, and I'll tell you why at the end of the show.
The biggest problem for the Jaguars has been the rushing game, both offensively and defensively. They're last in rushing yards, and they're last in opponent rushing yards. Their pass defense is in the top half of the NFL. So that might be something that surprises you. But they are averaging giving up 150 rush yards a game. So I wasn't surprised that both not Darren Sproles. Which San Diego rusher was the other one in this game? There was I'm trying to think of it. There was another San Diego rusher with Ryan Matthews.
I can look at it. Hold on.
That shows up. I think I can find
Box score. Danny Woodhead.
Yeah. Danny Woodhead, that was it. So Woodhead and Ryan Matthews had success in the run game, and
so did Ronnie Brown.
So I mean, all around, this is just a rush defense that is horrible. It's the only word to describe it.
Horrible. Phillip Rivers also torched that secondary of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also,
I'm not sure you'd say he torched.
22 of 26. I mean, if you can't bat down a pass,
that's accuracy. He only threw for 285 yards. That's not like he lit them up. He just threw accurate passes, and they didn't have to rely on the run all that much, or on the pass. They had 40 run plays.
Okay, all right. Well, still, he played very, very efficiently. So it was good to see from Phillip Rivers once again, showing the league that he's not on the downfall yet.
No. So let's move on to our next game.
The 49ers, man.
49ers going to Tennessee, playing the Titans. I'm not sure. I had a thought in my mind the 49ers would lose this game.
Yeah,
I did.
I thought
always
this would be the upset this week.
Ooh,
Jake Locker starting once again. I mean, Jake Locker coming back and starting. He 326 yards and 2 touchdowns, 25 of 41. If I told you that Jake Locker had those numbers, wouldn't you think that Tennessee Titans would win that game?
yeah.
Well, I mean, also, and ESPN has it wrong here. I was just checking out what they said, and said that the Titans won their 4th in a row, but the Niners won their 4th in a row after a 1-2 start.
Whoops.
But the biggest factor for the Niners has been Frank Gore. Honestly, Gore, after starting the season really slow, I was thinking, oh, Frank Gore, last season he wasn't the focus point for this team, so another maybe disappointing season out of Gore, but it's an understatement to say he showed up. He has 550 yards this year, and in the last few games he's run for, let's look at this. In the last few games he's run for 81, 153, 81, 101, and then 70. So he's had 70 or more yards in actually 5 straight games now. So that's been a huge factor for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Really is. Hold on, Jeremy. One more quick story about the running game. Chris Johnson, 9 carries, 39 yards. Still hasn't showed up this year.
CJ Tucker?
He didn't really show up last year either. He wasn't
No,
that big.
I think he's done.
He was a one-season guy, and
I think
He had a
Bengals
touchdown
flipped
in this
off
game.
of him.
Chris Johnson had a 66-yard touchdown in this game. Receiving.
Yeah. So are they going to convert him to running back or to wide receiver?
Slot.
Let him just get destroyed.
I mean, if you were playing Madden Ultimate Team, you might put him in the slot, but I don't know.
So let's move on to our next game. Coming down to the final 5, we got Cleveland and Green Bay. This game was in Green Bay, I believe.
Ew, the Browns. Brandon Weeden. Look at his numbers. Ew.
ew.
17 of 42. 149 yards and a touchdown.
That QBR, though. 10.0 QBR.
The difference
Best
was the first
QBR.
quarter in this game. I mean, after the first quarter, the score would have erased all points from the first quarter. It would have been 14-13 Packers. But in the first quarter, the Packers jumped to a 14-0 start, and from then, Browns couldn't catch
It would
up.
have been 17-14.
What?
It would have been 17-14 after the first.
Yeah.
Oh.
17-13.
Oh, yeah.
17-13.
17-13.
Yeah.
17-13. So, that first quarter killed them.
Yeah. Jordan
Yeah.
Cameron, he only had 7 receptions for 55 yards and a touchdown. Didn't really
This
show
is what I said. After he went off for a few games, I said,
you're right.
this isn't going to continue.
Hey, Ian, Isaac was right this time.
I was right this time. I'm
Yeah.
always right. What are you talking about?
Remember what I said about Justin Blackman last week? Remember how I said he was going to go off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
I was right about that, and now you're right about Jordan Cameron.
Whatever, man.
Well, you get this one.
Hey, before we get into a brawl, let's move on to our next fight. Not next fight.
Well, it was a fight. This game was quite a fight.
Yeah,
It really was. 17-16 Chiefs.
My
at
boy, Case
Arrowhead
Keenum.
Stadium.
Case Keenum.
Oh, my God. The Chiefs... Man, again, they have the 4th easiest schedule in the NFL.
I'm telling you.
They've only played one team that's over 500.
Mm-hmm.
And this was another game against Keenum, who played decent. The Chiefs are in the top 10 in only one major statistical category, which is pass defense. Otherwise, they're not really a top team in anything. And so far, their only over 500 team that they've played has been Dallas, who they beat by 1 point. All their blowouts have been against really bad teams. So, I mean, that's not much.
It really has been.
I mean, they beat Jacksonville and New York by a lot, but that's Jacksonville and New York, who have 1 win between them.
One thing I really like to see out of the Kansas City Chiefs offense, you saw Dexter McCluster take that punt back for a touchdown a few weeks back. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Just put Dexter McCluster out for a wide receiver screen and let him run with the ball. That's basically like it is with the punt return, right?
Well, that's what Percy Harvin's going to do.
Yeah, that's what you do with that. And Dexter McCluster, he got 70 yards out of like a bunch of those plays.
Yeah.
He's 4 receptions for 70 yards.
Him and Jamal Charles are the key to this offense, besides Dwayne Bowe, of course.
Jamal
What about
Charles,
Alex
the leading
Smith?
fantasy scoring running back this year. Something to point out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, let's move on to our next game. Isaac, you're a Baltimore fan?
I wasn't actually surprised by the outcome of this game. Pittsburgh beating Baltimore.
I was very
Yeah.
surprised.
I wasn't surprised. I know that.
Like I said earlier, Pittsburgh's improving. Baltimore is not improving. And I think they're going to finish maybe an 8-8 team this year.
They show that they don't
Baltimore's
care.
old.
They showed this week that they don't care about protecting their quarterback when they traded one of their offensive linemen.
Well, their play calling has just been bad lately. They're best when they throw the ball downfield, and they haven't scored yet this season on a pass of more than 30 yards, I think it was. So that's something. Their run game has just not gotten going like they wish it would. Ray Rice only has 242 yards this year. That's much less than he was projected. So if he has 242 yards through, 7 games, then by the end of the season he'll have approximately 600, which is bad. So there's not much else to say. I guess it wasn't the terribly exciting game. A lot of field goals, but Pittsburgh played hard and they deserved this one.
Yeah, nice to see Pittsburgh win a big game. They really didn't play well at the beginning of the season, and it looks like they're starting to turn it around for their coach. They don't want him to get fired.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, Mike Tomlin's a good coach, and I think if he does leave Pittsburgh, he'll be a good coach elsewhere. But they just don't have key players where they need to have key players. Roethlisberger won't be here much longer. Who's their next option at quarterback?
Landry Jones.
Yeah, and I mean, we haven't seen anything out of him yet, so we don't know, but it's not looking good for them. They face Oakland next week. That should be. I think they'll win that game. I think they'll advance to 3-4. But then they
Oakland
face
is-
New England. They face then Detroit a little later. They face Miami week 14.
Let's talk about Baltimore for a second. Let's talk about Ray Rice. What has happened with Ray Rice?
Their rushing yards offensively is 28th in the NFL, averaging 74 a game.
Ray Rice, 242 yards this whole season. He used to get that in single games last year.
I mean, it's partly the blocking they don't have. And who did you say, McKinney? He was a Ravens blocker. They lost him.
Yeah.
He's not a blocker. He's a lineman.
Yeah, a lineman. That's what I
Same
mean.
thing.
Regardless, their defense is playing well, which is a good sign. The Ravens' defense has given up not too many points except against the Broncos. Otherwise, they have not only given up 30 points once. But their offense can't get anything going, and Flacco's not playing well either. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see Ray Rice do good in the up and coming weeks. I think they have a bye this week, which I think will be beneficial for him because he has been absolutely awful this year.
Yeah, he really has. Do you guys
Moving
want to
on.
move on to our next game?
Yeah, the Broncos. This is the best game of the week in my opinion. The Broncos going into Indianapolis. Peyton Manning returning to the team that he spent a little over, I think, 10 years with in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he won a Super Bowl with them. Very emotional before the game as he got a standing ovation from his former hometown crowd, and I guess it was a fun game to watch as well. The Colts really played well in this game, pulled it out in the end.
Yeah, a lot of people are giving the Colts a lot of hype. Everybody thinks they're a great team, but I'm here to say it, and I'm gonna stand my ground. I don't think the Colts are all that good.
You're just saying that because they beat the Seahawks.
Maybe
At home,
but
they beat the Broncos at home. On the road, they're pretty bad.
They lost to
Yeah.
the Dolphins at home too.
The Seahawks would beat the Broncos at home.
The Dolphins beat the Colts in Indianapolis. Just saying.
I
okay,
mean,
well
The Dolphins are 3-3, so no one cares about them. But
Peyton Manning finally started to become human this week, I think.
Really? 386 yards and 3 touchdowns? That's human to you?
it's not quite human.
He didn't throw 4,500 yards and 12 touchdowns.
He did fumble and
throw a pick. Did he get sacked at all?
I think so. He's hurt. He missed practice.
Oh, boo-hoo, he's old. Get up and rub some dirt on it, and he'll be out on the field on Sunday.
At least he doesn't fumble like Russell Wilson.
Do you guys think that the Colts could be a Super Bowl team?
No.
Yeah, I think they could be.
What are you saying?
I think they could be if they played every game at home.
Yeah, no,
The Seahawks would be undefeated if they played every game at home.
Here's the interesting thing about the Broncos: their rushing defense is first in the NFL. Their passing defense is last in the NFL.
If the Dolphins played every game at home, they'd lose every game because that's what all they do at home.
Yeah, well, they're no one cares about the Dolphins anymore, Jeremy.
The Broncos' schedule is very easy, but one thing I want to point out...
easiest in the NFL.
Yeah, I forget what it was. What was the point?
By the way,
some
Jeremy...
guy on 710 ESPN radio made a comment about how... Hold on, continue. I'll think about this. I have to find this.
Jeremy, after the next 2 games, the Dolphins will be 3-5.
What are you saying? They play at home on Thursday Night Football.
Against the Bengals, they're going to lose.
No, they won't. It's going to be an awesome game. The Dolphins are going to kill. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be cheering on my Miami Dolphins.
No. The Bengals.
I'm going to say trick or treat to the ushers when I get to the stadium.
Dolphins. As much as I hate New England, they're still going to win this division. There's no question about that.
Dolphins are
let
going to
me
beat
back
New
in.
England
Let
too.
me back in.
The Dolphins finish at 7-9.
Ian, shut
Well,
up. No, you're not allowed back in now because I'm mad.
Okay, no. Okay, so I remember the point. The Broncos, they've only played so far 1, 2, 3 games on the road. They've only played 3 games on the road, and they've played all 4 or 5 other 4 games at home.
That's a big difference.
Well, no. Now you come into the second half of the season, and they only have 3 more. After their bye week, which is week 9, they only have 3 more home games.
3, really?
And then they have 5 road games against San Diego, New England, Kansas City, Houston, and Oakland.
Damn.
Well, you look at Kansas City, New England, Kansas City.
I think Kansas City will be beaten by the Broncos both at home and in Denver.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
and
let's move on before I just...
I hate that Chiefs fans think that they're the loudest stadium because they have 10,000 more people than we do.
Well, definitely the Seahawks have the best crowd in the world by far.
For only 67,000 people. It's crazy.
Yeah.
As Jameis Winston would say, if we gonna do it, we do it big.
Except the
Dolphins.
Okay,
well, now we're going to the G-men.
The Dolphins are average.
They're putting up hold on, we're gonna do it big now with the Giants. Big first win of the year, 1-6, baby.
Oh, what a game!
They're gonna win 9 straight games, go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl.
Hey guys, guess who I have on the phone?
That's not my prediction, but
guess who I have on the phone here, calling into the show again.
Robert Dieters.
Yeah, here he is. Robert, you got anything?
I just wanted to shout out to your show.
Yes.
I would like to say Niners are beast and are always going to be better than the Dolphins.
Thanks, Robert.
Dolphins are an average team, barely.
True NFL expert Robert Dieters, ladies and gentlemen.
You mean Bay Area expert.
The 49ers are better than the 3-3 Dolphins. You heard it first, ladies and gentlemen. 49ers are 5-2. Sound the alarms, they're 5-2.
Wow. He's crazy. Dieters has lost his mind.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's get on. World Series, I think it's already started. I want to get to it.
No, it starts at 8:07. I have to leave at 8. Ugh.
So, the NFC Championship preview, the Giants face the Vikings. And, it was a tough game, hard-fought game, really powerful offenses against tough
What are you even talking about? This game was horrible.
I know. I'm just trying to make it sound good.
This is probably the
talk about this game. Josh Freeman is like a high school quarterback.
He's worse than the high school quarterback.
He's like a
He's
second
worse
string
than listen, Sean White, the quarterback at my school who's going to Auburn next year, I'm sure he could beat out Josh Freeman in a quarterback battle.
Oh, sure. No question.
I could beat out Josh Freeman in a quarterback battle. And I'll leave like football.
Yeah.
Probably like
I could learn the Vikings offense faster than Josh Freeman could. Just hand the ball to Adrian Peterson.
Right. And they only handed it to him,
13 times.
13 times? Do they think Josh Freeman's going to come in and be, legendary?
20 of 53. Another great QBR of 6.1.
Well, who is it that Kerry Collins is on now?
I don't know.
Because somebody said that, it's the Rams. Yeah, Kerry Collins has the worst QBR total since, 2006 or something.
Okay, hold on.
For
Here's the rank of QBR this season. I'm just going to go over the top 15. 1, Peyton Manning. 2, Phillip Rivers. 3, Matt Ryan. 4, Drew Brees. 5, Andrew Luck. 6, Jake Locker. 7, Colin Kaepernick. 8, Jay Cutler. 9, Michael Vick. 10, Tony Romo. 11, Matt Stafford. 12, Andy Dalton. 13, Russell Wilson. 14, Aaron Rodgers. 15, Nick Foles.
Wait. Where's Ryan?
Matt Ryan.
No, where's Tannehill?
Ryan Tannehill. He's 27.
What the heck? Because he throws picks and he fumbles.
He stinks.
Josh
and Lamar Miller
Josh
stinks,
Freeman
and everybody
is
on the Dolphins
36.
stinks.
Josh Freeman is 36. He's behind all the second-string QBs, except for Blaine Gabbert.
Not all of them.
I hate
He's behind all
ESPN.
of the
I just look over at my screen and they have a question. They're doing NBA talk right now, and they show, can Dwayne Wade beat Dwayne Wade this year? Oh my God! Right? Really? That's a story they're gonna go with, right?
The Heat are gonna stink this year. Wade stinks.
Okay, I think it's time to end the show on one last note.
Let's
Blaine
go
Gabbert,
Heat!
that's
Let's
the,
go Heat!
Star QB has a QBR of 1.8.
How about being a St. Louis sports fan right now?
I know.
They have one of the best hockey teams. Their basketball team, what are they called?
They don't have a basketball team.
Whatever. The Missouri Tigers are one of the top college football teams in the country. They have the Chiefs, obviously.
That's not in Missouri though. That's in Kansas.
They have the Cardinals.
That's in Karen. I don't even understand that. That's in Kansas, not Missouri.
It's near there. It's near wherever it is. Kansas City's in Missouri, by the way.
No, there's a Kansas City and Kansas and.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
so
Chiefs.
I was wrong.
So, and of course the Cardinals are playing for the World Series. So they have 4 of the top sports teams in their respective things right now.
And they have the Rams.
Yeah, we don't talk about them.
Better than the Browns.
The Browns aren't even that bad. Why do we trash on the Browns? Why don't we trash on
All right,
the Buccaneers?
wait. Listen, let me give you Brandon Weeden's numbers again. 17 of 42, 149 yards.
And that concludes today's show, guys. Thanks for tuning into the Coast to Coast show.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. Thanks again for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Just search the Coast to Coast show. Shout out to Robert Dieters for calling in and giving us his so great insight on the 49ers.
Shout out to the Niners.
Yeah, shout out to the Niners.
Shout out to Dwayne Wade.
Any of the Niners, shout out to D Wade. I know you're listening, bud. I hope you appreciate me backing you up, man.
Can you believe Jason Kidd is an NBA coach now?
I was just talking to my friend Dwayne Wade. Can you give me a second? We're having a heart-to-heart here. I'll see you on Tuesday, bro. At the game, opening night against the Bulls. Yeah.
Yeah, you're sitting front row, right?
No, 300 level, but that's besides the point. I get back locker room passes. D Wade's gonna hook me up, I think.
Sounds good.
Yeah, all right. So, again, thanks everybody for listening. Don't forget to look out for another show of ours this week. We're gonna try and get in the prediction show for Week 8 of the NFL, and then of course another Coast to Coast show to recap all things sports, especially NFL and the World Series, which is coming up in about 15 minutes or so. So we want to
Red
go.
Sox.
Yeah, Isaac wants to root for the Red Sox. Ian wants to root for the Cardinals. I'm sure they can
Why
argue
would you
about that.
I think the Red Sox are going to win because it's supposed to be a cold game and they have beer, so they'll clearly win.
Obviously. All
That's
right.
about the extent of my baseball knowledge.
Again, Brandon Whedon's numbers: 17 of 42, 149 yards. Good night, everyone.